What's going on, everybody? I am on my about 300th dungeon run on the Barbarian so far, and we're talking about set items, and honestly, one of, if not the most annoying thing in the entire game, and a lot of the times the thing that makes people the most irritated to log on and try to progress their character for what minimal they can do. So set items are just miserable to go and farm for. Just to give you an example, I have farmed over 900 dungeons before, during my non-boosted, my boosted video, and then following that up with dungeons afterwards, just farming. And then also when I transferred to Barb, I've been trying to get new set items for a reason that we'll talk about in just a moment. And I have not gotten my first triple stat item until like around dungeon 900, which is just absolutely absurd. And then following that, I also ran about 200 to 250 dungeons of, Temple of Namari on Barb, which I'm kind of on my like 350th, something like that. And I had not gotten a Vithus piece at all. I got every single other ones and dupes of those other ones, but I did not get my Vithus piece, which is literally the one I was looking for, which is really unfortunate. Now, I have since got that, and I have gotten my triple stat item, but that is kind of unacceptable. If we just kind of extrapolate that, 900 dungeons, if we just assume here that you're a casual player and you're running dungeons at around 4 minutes a piece, that means that I've spent over, let's just see here, 60 hours for nothing, literally nothing, because I would rather have a set item because it's going to make my character more powerful than the combat rating that I would have gotten. Therefore, I needed the Vithus piece specifically in order for me to actually get stronger. So it took 60 hours for one piece. Now, I am on the extreme end when I'm talking about here, but 60 hours, if you base that off of basically what Blizzard wants you to do, which is play for 2 to 3 hours, every day, which is kind of the casual player base, but even then is a little bit too much. That's going to take you a month to get one set item. What? Like that is just crazy. One triple set item, that's crazy. And that's not even in the set that I necessarily want. And then, of course, if we factor in the fact that, let's say I wanted that one set piece that I wanted. Again, I said I ran about 200 dungeons, which is about 1/4 of that. I would have to spend about 12 to 15 hours to get one piece of a 6-piece set that I'd like. That is crazy, meaning I take a little bit less than a week to get one piece. That is just crazy. And keep in mind that this is not including the fact that you need to find the group, that you may not even be able to run the dungeons as fast as I'm claiming to actually have run them. All of these things matter. And then you have a situation where people are really frustrated because they enter these dungeons and they just cannot get the drops that they need. And then they go and boom, they're kind of done with the game because they don't or can't progress their character despite them spending hours upon hours in these dungeons. It's honestly a little absurd. And this is something that I think is the most requested thing in the game, is to somehow change set items. Legendary items are honestly not that bad, but set items are really bad. And then that brings me to the second point here, which is legendary items have gotten a new set item system, which it doesn't make any sense. Legendaries have the essence transfer ability, which is really, really nice. It makes legendary item farming much, much more fun and more enjoyable. But then you've added invocations, which are not essence transferable, and you have to farm the triple stat item that you want and the invocation that you want, and then hope that you get the correct invocation that you want with that triple stat, which makes it even more absurd to go ahead and actually min-max your character, or even just progress and use the ancestral properties from the warband. So they've added this new system, which is just completely awful in terms of, hey, we have been requesting some sort of fix to set items, and then you've added a very similar system in the invocation properties to this game. So what do we do about this? What do we do? Because they clearly want warbands to be a thing. They want set items and the way that you farm them to be kind of this really elongated process. As well as many other content creators have been advocating for a set item transfer, sort of like the essence transfer system, to where you can actually farm one set item and then you just transfer it to whatever gear you get. The only problem with that is that maybe that encourages people to farm less dungeons in terms of the boosted dungeons. So people that are interested in farming more dungeons are going to get less groups. So maybe that's why they don't want to do it. But it will be more beneficial to the majority of the player base than I think not. The second thing that I think that they should absolutely do is make it so that set items are transferable between intelligence and strength classes. One of the reasons why I've been farming so many dungeons recently on the Barb is because I swapped from Necro to Barb. When on Necro, I had almost every single set piece farmed. I was missing like 1 or 2. But on the Barb, I have 0 set pieces because I cannot use the ones on the intelligence classes for the strength classes. Why is this a thing? The classes can literally use those attributes as combat rating. You don't necessarily need to improve your stats. It doesn't make any sense to me why would they would split that up. It's not even within the game. There's 2 classes that are strength and 4 are 2 classes that are intelligence and 4 that are strength. So it doesn't even make sense there. And then on top of that, why would they do that? Especially since you have a situation where they encourage people to class change. That's supposed to be one of their biggest features, that you can experience all the classes, but then they don't make it easier for you. Then the third thing here is to give us some sort of stash space. I don't understand why this is not a thing either. This is something that I was really irritated by, especially with the addition of ancestral weapons and invocations, because I'm actually wanting to save my invocation gear pieces, meaning I want to save, my random invocations that I get across the map, but I don't have enough space in my stash because I'm saving the Grace sets, I'm saving the Mountbank sets, I'm saving the Gloom Guide sets, I'm saving the Vithu sets, the Isatar sets, the Windloft sets. I'm saving all these sets that I want to use and kind of and change up my build on my Barb and perhaps all the future strength classes that I might be using. But I don't have any stash space, and therefore my inventory fills up. And obviously, if you are someone who is free to play, you're not going to have the Boon of Plenty. In fact, I haven't even purchased the Boon of Plenty this cycle because I honestly have not been interested in it. And it's so quick to fill up. It's just absolutely so quick to fill up, especially when half your inventory is full of random legendaries and sets you're trying to keep. Now, granted, my stash currently is not exactly full because, well, I just swapped from intelligence to strength, so I have hardly any set items at all. But still, stash needs to be changed, especially if they're going to keep these systems in the game. However, I really, really hope, and this is how I think they could absolutely fix all of these things, is just to give us set item transfers if they ever want to give us and throw us a bone. But at the very least, make it so invocations are unlockable and you can essence transfer those, because I just don't understand why they added a whole nother set item transfer effect on legendary items, which legendary items are one of the most fun things to farm, which isn't really fun, mind you, because of how essence transferable they actually are. You can transfer between the essences, so even if you get a legendary item, you can guarantee that you will be able to use it if it has the stats that you want, because you can go ahead and swap it into the effect that you want. So just a little bit of a rant, as well as some things that I think they can really use to improve the game. I have been really enjoying the warband activities, but they have made it feel like a little bit of a chore for the warband raid being the one way you can go ahead and get your activity done. And then they added the fact that invocations are, a little bit of the same thing in terms of family bonuses, and then they make it more difficult for you to farm it all. It's just a little strange to me. It feels like this is like a replacement for the lack of content that they're having, that they just want us to perpetually farm the same things over and over again, which technically that is the point of an ARPG, so I get that. But in this case, you're perpetually farming the same things, repeating over and over again. You get instantly replaced just because they decided, which is a little strange to me. So hopefully they add something like that and make it easier, especially for you casual players out there. After just doing the math here, it's kind of crazy to me because I, again, spend hours upon hours upon hours farming dungeons because I have the ability to. But for you casual players out there, I can't even imagine how you're able to pull together a 4-piece, 6-piece set. Honestly, it might take you a couple of weeks, and then by that point, you might have had just another combat rating upgrade, which would have been preferable to you. So definitely something to think about, and definitely something that I think really needs addressing. So let me know what you think down below in the comment section, because I am curious to hear everyone's thoughts. Is this, or do you think this is probably the biggest problem with Diablo Immortal, or does it have to do with something else? Not gonna talk about pay to win here because obviously that is a problem with the game, but in terms of just mechanics within the game and being able to play and farm the game, it feels like this specific thing is preventing me from having most enjoyment because I can't just willy-nilly swap classes because I need to test set items for each class. So I can't just swap every week to a new class and enjoy them because I have to refarm all their set items, which is really, really annoying. And then of course, you know, set items in general are just annoying to farm, period, regardless of your class swapping. So again, let me know what you think down below. Thank you for watching this long. If you did, be sure to like the video, sub to the channel, and I'll see you guys for the next video.